I'm just throwing this right here at the very beginning of the video. I made a mistake during the reaction. In trailer number 2, it looked like that was Thor's Mjolnir hammer, but then I realized that it was just the angle that threw me off. But no, that must have been Stormbreaker. So it was always Stormbreaker, guys. I hear the comments, even though I haven't read any of those that said that, but I hear the comments. Hi there, Reject Nation. I'm Greg.
I'm John.
If you watched our reaction for this special look, you'll know that we've been up since about 4:55 a.m. Literally only got about 2 hours of sleep. I kept waking up like wide awake, any slight noise, because I was so anxious about trying to grab the Endgame tickets. They said it'd be on sale by 5 a.m.
They were on sale a little before 5 a.m. It seems like, and the site's been crashing since.
Yeah, I know that we've seen some concert people were able to get their tickets. I don't know what state you're in. I know a couple people in California who texted me saying they managed to grab some tickets. I don't know, man. We got me on it, you on it, we got Andrew on it, and we're all just keep getting logged out, and we've been at it for, it's 6:43 right now as we're shooting this. Since no site is loading, might as well try to do a breakdown of this video because there's lots to gather from it that I really did quite enjoy. I feel a little bit more awake than when we did the reactions. So I was like, yeah, let's hop into this now, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
The first thing I want to point out is that moment with Cap in the mirror really stands out to me because that must be when he shaves his freaking beard.
Yeah, he's going to use every one of those mirrors to make sure that his face is flawless.
I mean, you could see the razor right there, right? It looks like a razor, doesn't it? No, that's not what you were expecting as part of the breakdown.
Hey,
you got to know when he shaves that beard.
When these images are so restricted, you got to dive deep.
A lot of the trailers have, been touching on different themes, like obviously starting off with feeling very desolate. Another one's, then the other second trailer really honed in on the struggle, battle-like element in terms of the internal, so we got some external elements, but it's...
But we're mounting the final offensive. It's very kind of, we're setting out on the journey.
Whereas this one, even though you get some of that desolate vibes, you get some hope elements. Makes it pretty clear, I have a hard time believing it's just trailer manipulation. That shot that we've seen in the other trailers when the characters are looking up at the sky like, who's returning?
Yeah.
Just based off the environment, it must be
probably
when
Tony and Nebula.
When Tony and Nebula return. Tony reuniting with Pepper. We've gotten 2 trailers now where he's just really trying to reunite with her. Now we see here that he reunites with her, which is awesome.
Yeah, I'm a little confused that they decided to show that in this trailer, actually, just because, it's been such a huge lead of those other ones, is him talking to the mask, leaving the message. I'm a little taken aback by that, actually.
Well, and then you have this other moment, which I think could be a very powerful emotional moment where you have Nebula and Rocket sitting next to each other because, Rocket's part of the Guardians of the Galaxy. The whole team vanished away on Titan, where Nebula was there to witness it, but Rocket wasn't. He was off with Thor. I imagine in that moment that Nebula has to also give the confirmation of what happened. They're probably going to have like a bonding moment in terms of the loss they experienced together.
Yeah, well, and they're both 2 characters that have been like built and cobbled together, so I gotta imagine that they have kind of a unique place to bond from given all this stuff.
Because in the next shot you see they're holding hands as well, because Nebula's always kind of been at like weird odds even with the Guardians, oh yeah. So in this moment this is when they're uniting together. But even like with this series of images that are going over with Tony having that line about it's not about how much we lost, it's about how much we have left.
Yeah, I like that.
That's what I mean, that those little elements of hope. And you even get that moment with Ronan where his tats are being shown off and
his friggin' sleeves.
He got a bunch of tats in the meantime.
Yeah, man, Ronan has just been going through like a rock and roll phase.
But he even gives like a little nod, and it's the first time he looks remotely positive in any of these trailers, you know?
Yeah, ready to go and get some revenge.
Yeah, and then I feel like Tony and Nebula, there'll be a lot of just very sad vibes from the team, and I imagine that when Tony and Nebula return, that's when you get this moment of being instilled with some hope, I think, more than just for the audience, but for the characters.
Oh, yeah, I mean, if they're able to at least reunite with the remaining team, I gotta imagine that that's gonna be a huge catalyst for the entire hope engine of this movie.
Sure. With even Tony saying, to Cap, you trust me. I do.
Yeah, that handshake.
Which is really cool. You know, after the events of Civil War, we have yet to see them reunite. The environment made it look like it was part of Avengers 1, you know, like, because we saw those set photos where it's like pretty apparent they time travel back. Yeah. And then even with the shot with Iron Man in the sky, that looks like it's out of the first Avengers movie. I mean, that could be at any point in time, honestly, because it's in New York and Iron Man's going over the city.
Well, and the suit looks a lot more modern.
There's something about that shot that just feels like it's from the first Avengers movie. I don't know if that's intentional. I don't know if I'm just reading into some random shot here.
It is a cityscape during the daytime with Iron Man in it. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it could be. It could not be.
The reason I question, too, is that moment with Cap and Tony of saying, you trust me, part of the time travel element. When I first watched it, that's what I immediately thought. But looking at it, you see him wearing 2 different suits in this trailer. And from what I can best gather, that suit in that moment is from the Winter Soldier outfit. But then you see that other shot, which looks like it's in that same moment from that badass moment in trailer 2 where he locks the shield. It has the struggle face. Yeah. That outfit, I believe, is the Captain America Civil War outfit. And the reason why it looks like that is because it's got the A patch on the side. I'm not sure, why he's changing so many outfits. I don't know why there's multiple Captain Americas. Or I don't know what it is.
He's on the way out. Yeah. It's like, I got to get every costume back in this
Which is the best way to die in,
Yeah. Do I want to go back to the first one, Do I want to go back to, my biggest appearance? Which one?
And as cool as that shot is, too, with the whole group standing together, I do notice that, in this shot, you're still missing a couple of players here,
you have Thor.
You don't have Thor, you don't have Captain Marvel in this shot.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're off doing something different. Maybe
they're just standing across the room from everybody.
They're just standing across the room from when they have the Stormbreaker.
Yeah, and everyone's like, wow, Thor, that was pretty cool.
Well, it's got to be a different moment than that, obviously. I mean, we're just making a joke, but it's got to be a different one than that because Black Widow's in that shot, and then also she has a blonde hair in that shot, whereas in this group shot, she has her red hair going. Mm-hmm. And also this shot of when they're kind of going into hyperspace, hyperdrive. That's the Guardians of the Galaxy Benatar ship. And it's like the inside was like, there could be any ship, but it's the seatbelts.
Yeah,
the seatbelts. I'm like, that's Star-Lord's seatbelt. Like the way the design is and everything. So Captain Marvel's using that based off the other trailers too. Safe to assume that the ship that Tony and Nebula used to get back is the Benatar. Mm-hmm. So that would make sense why they're using it. But in the Benatar, I don't know if they're just maybe taking a couple of ships because you don't have even though it's the Benatar, you don't have Nebula here, you don't have Iron Man here, you don't have Ant-Man as well.
Yeah.
A lot of the times with the time frame elements, it's like, okay, wait a minute. There's Black Widow here with blonde hair. Cap's in his Winter Soldier outfit. So what point in time is this exactly? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So it seems like Cap Marvel is probably going to unite with them. It's also based off the, spoilers. It's made almost $1 billion at this point in the Endgame trailers. It's based off the post-credit scene. It seems like what will first happen is Captain Marvel will unite with them. They'll go on a mission. Then later, Tony, whatever events happen from this mission, Tony and Nebula will return after whatever this mission is. And maybe Rocket and Thor, because we see that in the other trailers, are in an isolated environment, but it looks like they're at that same location. So maybe that's why that group shot, they weren't together. The narration, too, of Thanos' line of you couldn't live with your own failure.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of images that really stand out to me there. Obviously, Tony looking at Peter. Out of all the loss, that's the main one he feels the most for.
Everybody feels the most for.
But then you also have Nebula and War Machine looking at each, War Machine giving her, that's weird, nasty look, actually.
He's really turned on right now.
Where are we going?
Yeah, he's like, end of the world scenarios, really rev my engine, sister.
Because she's got a sharp focus look, and he's like, what the hell are you looking at?
Yeah.
What the hell are we going?
I mean, I know we're getting revenge for our friends, but you're really into this.
That moment with Thanos showing up, there's a couple of things. One, it looks like he's kind of coming through the Bifrost.
Yeah, it looks like he's materializing somehow, or maybe he just wanted to make a big entrance.
Yeah, and I'm also, because, he appears in that famous moment in Infinity War when he does
through
appear.
That hole.
Yeah, the smoke and stuff. He's using the gauntlet there to go through. But here looks like maybe the gauntlet is damaged or broken because it seems here that he's traveling through the Bifrost in this moment. At least that's how the Bifrost looks when you travel through it. He's also fully armored up. And then we saw those toys where he had the double-bladed sword.
Yeah.
So I do imagine that perhaps, just maybe, this, like maybe the gauntlet is actually broken, or a couple, or maybe one of the stones doesn't work, or something. Something has to go. There must be something wrong with the gauntlet to the point where he's not just using it. If he's all fully armored up, that means he's getting ready to battle.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, I feel like we saw that in either Infinity War or a teaser image or something that the gauntlet looks real busted up.
Well, yeah, no,
There's
it's an
something about-
Infinity
yeah.
War after he uses
Yeah,
it.
after the snap. So
I mean, he's able to use it to get away though.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it was just temporary how long in the last remaining battery life of it.
or maybe he didn't need all of the stones to do it or something.
Yeah.
But I am curious as to what's going on with that.
Because he practically fights them in a tank top in the other one.
Yeah,
Whereas
basically.
here he's like, I need to wear some gear and make sure I'm ready to go.
Yeah. He took
I
his
need to make
scarecrow down and put it back on.
I need to make sure Stormbreaker doesn't,
Yeah, and need to
pierce
make sure
through me. Yeah.
make sure he doesn't take my advice this time.
Because I'm like,
And
at
aim higher.
this point, does he need to put on a bunch of gear? Does he need to do that? If the gauntlet's working, he could just snap them away. He's preparing for battle, and I love that line too. You cannot live with your own failure. Where did that bring you back to me? Of course.
Of course it did.
They're still alive. Where else are they gonna go?
Yeah, they're not gonna get revenge on somebody else.
Yeah.
They're not gonna reverse somebody else's master plan.
I guess the last thing is you see that cool shot with the Trinity of Iron Man, Cap, and Thor walking towards Thanos, who in the blurred background looks like he doesn't have his helmet on and is perhaps a little exhausted. And perhaps
one would hope.
a little tired. My question is from this trailer is that you don't see Hulk at all in any of these.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of wondering if this is the mid-battle moment or something. Could Hulk possibly be there?
Okay, I see.
If they could just as easily edited Hulk into Infinity War trailers, they could just as easily edit him out of these,
Exactly. Maybe he smashed Thanos, and now our heroes are about to step up and finish the game or something like that.
There must be. Yeah, I don't imagine this is the final battle that we're looking at. This is probably a midpoint battle or something.
Yeah, I would gotta imagine that as much of a big deal as they've made about we're only showing clips from certain parts of the movie, even if they're not telling us the full truth about that, I don't think they would go to the finale battle for footage.
Exactly. I can see primarily the trailers are first 15 minutes, but there's just no way all this is the first. There's just no way. I'm like, this is the most rushed movie ever then if this is what's going on. Yeah.
How are they on a destroyed planet? They're like, Tony's back, and they're all going out into space. And what's happening in this first 15 minutes?
This is great stuff. I'm excited. We have press greeting tickets, so now we just gotta
get our regular.
Because I want to go on IMAX and be with an opening crowd. You know how it goes. Anyway, guys, any fun theories you gather from this trailer, comment below. You guys can subscribe to the Reject Nation, click that notification bell, and check us out on Patreon. We do weekly Q&As, TV show reaction stream along, some with reaction highlights included, and John does music video coverage.